Okay, can everyone hear me? Should be able to. I can't hear you, so if anyone wants to do anything, you have to type it. Okay, I'm not wearing headphones. Okay, why am I here? Because I am being unfairly treated. This isn't the first time for people who are here, they'll be well aware of that. I've been unfairly treated before and will be again. It's the same old story, basically. Comes out the same thing. Bigotry, the snowflake. You know, we've all heard about them. Because I would have thought, there's no snowflakes around where I am. And all these kids get blamed for being snowflakes. It's the young people, the snowflakes. You know what? It's not. Because there's loads of them, and I've never seen any of them that are the kids. I don't think it is the kids that are snowflakes. It's just people generally, there are a load of them that are complete and utter fucking wimps, is what they are. So what happened today? Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not talking about the class when I went to Ian Freeman. I'm saying that because Ian Freeman was actually, trained me very well. He's a very knowledgeable, very, very skilled man, and I wish I'd stayed in his class. Because what I actually did was I switched. And the reason I switched to this other one for 3 lessons was to try another one, and I stayed for 3 because I used to talk to the people there. You see, it was quite nice. You don't get to talk to people when you're an author because you don't. It doesn't work like that. You just end up doing your own stuff. You don't really get to talk to people. It's not that type of a job. Okay? So what happened was, basically, like I said, I'm not talking about Ian Freeman, who's a very skilled person, because I know I'll put links to him on here. And I want to make sure that you understand that I'm not talking about that guy. It's a different person I'm not going to publicise. But basically speaking, you're not allowed back kickboxing at this establishment. And the reason for that is obviously it's occultism, basically speaking. Because they said I'd said something and I asked what it was and they wouldn't tell me what it was. They said we've got 2 witnesses. Yes, but I want to know what it is that I've supposedly said. The thing is, you see, I'm not an offensive guy. I write books on occultism that people get offended by because they're arseholes, you see. That's what it basically comes down to. You still don't realise I'm not the arsehole they are, you see. Because I don't like Marmite. I don't like other people. I don't stop other people from eating Marmite. If you want to eat Marmite, you eat Marmite. I don't care. You're allowed to eat Marmite. It's got bugger all to do with me. And that's what I feel my books are like. If you don't like occultism, don't like it. But you don't get to stop other people from doing it because, in fact, there's a human rights law. Okay, these aren't universal. These are ones for Britain. So I'll look at this one here. And there's one of them says, right, I like I'll tell you which one it is. It's actually that I have right to respect for my property. That means that just means that you're allowed to use your stuff how they want to. It means you're allowed to read books basically, and they'll have other things. So you have a book, you're allowed to read it, which means no one's allowed to stop you from reading a book because it's your book. Okay, or you can do anything else you want with it because it's yours as long as you don't hurt anybody else. Okay, but that's basically what it's about. Because like I said, it's a way of blackening my name. Say, oh no, I'm not going to say what it is here. Why not? Why the fucking not would he not mention? Because he wants to blacken my name. And I think I know what it is, because this guy he's an ex-world champion kickboxer. But it's obvious the guy's a fucking wimp. Because who's he get rid of? He doesn't just get rid of the occultist, get rid of the only guy there who was beaten up by 4 coppers who were in the Italian mafia as well, and came out unscathed. Why? Because you can't buy that. Okay? I think there's another guy got rid of. Who was the other guy got rid of? I'm not going to mention a fucking great big bloke, right? Who's hugely, massively strong. Because you know what? You can't do anything with these bodybuilders. You can't. And there's at least one guy like that. You can't fuck with bodybuilders because they're so fucking huge. Bodybuilders are massive, okay? You can't. All this kickboxing stuff, you can do this. It sounds great in theory, but in reality, in the real world, people function close up, okay? I'm not saying people can't make it work. I'm just saying you can't. Because some of these bodybuilders are like concrete blocks, okay? So you just can't. You know. It's also quite a small place. So it's like a local area thing. But clearly this is what it's really about, you know. You got the snowflakes. Oh no, it's occultism. We can't deal with this. My mind will melt. And so they're trying to get rid of the bloke, which is me. But think about it logically. Think about this logically speaking. Why the fuck wouldn't he tell me the last time? Why wouldn't he tell me on the last lesson? No, he didn't. He waited till this lesson. You know, because he's on a power trip. Look, you know, I'm the most prolific cult author in history. There is a shed load of kickboxing societies. So being a world champion means that you're one in the world out of 30, 50, 100 different societies. So it's not the same as a world record. Okay, let's get that right. It isn't, because there's too many societies in reality, you know. And like I said, I don't really know if he did any real world violence, which means it's no good to me anyway. Everybody there is punching with gloves on. That's lovely, but the world doesn't have gloves. You're not going to be wearing boxing gloves when you're fighting in the world. So how the hell is it going to work? How's that going to work? They need to spend at least some of the time, or their hands will be fragile. So they don't know the old bare knuckle boxers used to practice, not just hitting bricks, but they used to practice punching like that. And the reason was to harden the hands. So that at first they'd be punching bags, and they'd be punching like that, and they'd build it up so they could punch like a hard bag and punch it hard with the bare knuckles, because if you can't punch like that, a bag like that, then you can't punch. Okay, that's just basic logic. What's the logic of that? In the world, you will not have a glove. You will not have gloves. So if you cannot punch without gloves on, then you can't punch. Now that's fine if you're doing something just for a sport. But if you ever want to use it, then you won't be able to. But it's this whole snowflake thing, isn't it? You know, that somehow I'm offended by something, it has to be stopped. So if you do something that somebody doesn't like, you write something they don't like, we have to stop. Stop. No, you don't get to stop people because you don't like it. This is ridiculous. This is a wimp mentality. You know, this is why the guy's got such a small class and some shitty past players, because basically speaking, you're talking people that are wimps. That's what you're talking about, you know. It's the same reason I had trouble that I was pushed out of a pub. Why? Because the people there were basically wimps who can't cope with the world. So the fact of the matter is, what I do now and what I write is so hardcore, these people can't cope with it, basically. And that's the thing. Some of these people aren't the ones that are traditional snowflakes. Forget about this whole snowflake thing being young kids. Oh, and it's young girls and the snowflakes, and I'm a tough guy. No, it's a lot of it. It's these guys that are supposed to be tough that are the snowflakes. They're the ones that can't cope. You know, the guys that put tattoos all over the faces and stuff like this, so that no one will have a go at them. Because what they're doing it for is they want to be scary, because they're frightened that people will attack them. Okay, and that's what you're looking at, really, is these sort of guys. You know, the snowflakes. They can't deal with the world. So when something comes in, which is someone like me, who is only a writer, right? Think about it. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a villain. I'm a writer. I write books. It's the most respectable job you can have. When someone like me comes along who writes something which is hardcore, I don't hold back. I'm not doing books on meditation. I've written books on meditation, probably write more, but I write books on occultism, which is a hardcore subject. And so what you get is this whole thing about, oh no, we can't have this in the world, we can't have this. And they want rid of you because they simply cannot cope that it exists. Now, they don't have to believe in occultism. All I'm saying is that it's just the idea that, you know, hello people, you know, as a subject, it exists. You're allowed not to think it's real. You're allowed to think it's bullshit. You know, I'm not into sociology. I think that's pretty much a load of bullshit as well. You're allowed, but it still exists. I know sociology exists as a subject. And that's it. That's basically what it comes down to. You know, it's this whole snowflake thing, isn't it, really? But it is. What I mean, think about it. The idea that you get to discriminate against somebody because they write books on occultism is an abomination in society, which is what it is. Now, the trouble is, this is a problem. If the person runs a class, technically speaking, I always class they're allowed to discriminate against people if they're an arsehole, which is what they've done. There's no, you know, they are really if they want to. But the thing is, are they allowed in human rights law? So the thing is, you say, it's covered under one of the human rights. I'll see which one it's covered under. See, it's actually covered under several of them. See, I'll go through them. I have the right to life. I must not be tortured or so inhuman or degrading treatment. Now, that is the thing. In public, he would not say what it was. Oh, I can't mention it in public. Now, that means he wouldn't say what the thing I was supposed to have said, which was bullshit in the first place. Now, that means he trapped me in an inhuman and degrading way. That means he's on Article 3 of the Human Rights Act, of 1998 in the UK he broke, which is, I must not be tortured or suffer inhuman or degrading treatment, which means he's a fucking torturer, basically. He's managed to break the torturing law of the 1998 Human Rights Bill. Interesting, isn't it? How it moves so easily. I have the right to a fair trial. It wasn't actually, what it says here, we must always be innocent, always innocent until proven guilty. That's what it actually says. What does this mean? We are always innocent until proven guilty. I was innocent. Nobody proved me guilty of anything. It didn't even offer evidence, which means they broke Article 6 of the Human Rights Bill. Now, until people think this doesn't really apply, it actually does apply because we're in the UK. And this Human Rights Act is a law and applies to everybody. It doesn't just apply to the police. It applies to literally everybody. I have freedom of thought, religion and belief. That's an interesting point. I have the freedom of belief. See, you're allowed to believe whatever you want. See, that's the same thing. It means, again, that means that broke Article 9 of the Human Rights Bill, of the Human Rights Act. So he broke Article 9 as well. So he broke 3 of the Human Rights Act. Difficult to prove the third one. I think it's obviously the case, but you know, you'd be able to prove the third. Because let's be honest, once you prove the other two, that third one's going to be easy to prove. I have the right to free speech. We can speak freely, hold our own opinions, and hear others' view. So, whatever I said, which it's bullshit, I don't say offensive things. It's just me saying something. And that's Article 10. So that's also a problem. I must not suffer discrimination, Article 14. See, it just stacks up, doesn't it? See, it seems innocent when you go through, you see what a fucking arsehole these people are. I have the right to education. Interesting point, that, isn't it? If you're not allowed to discriminate against people and they're paying you money, do you have to keep educating them in the subject? You see? And maybe he does, which means he would actually going to broke, which one's that one? Oh, the second protocol of it. There's like the protocols as well, or the first protocol. The first protocols are the right to respect for property, I have the right to education, and I have the right to vote. So that's protocol. So he wrote 3 articles he wrote and one of the protocols of the Human Rights Bill, Human Rights Act in 1998. Yes, aren't people fucking arseholes? It doesn't have to say everything about society, basically. People don't even realise they break these bills and these acts and they don't give a shit because they are too thick to understand that they apply to them. They don't even have any idea at all. We're talking not just snowflakes, but people who couldn't spell IQ, whose IQ is so low as to be stupid. That's what we're really talking about, really. You know. And it doesn't matter if someone offers a complaint. Where is the proof? What you've got is 2 people simply wanting to get rid of somebody. That's all you've got, really. I guess who it is. And the people in question, I don't think they're that stupid, really. But what they are is bigoted, because they're clearly not that bright, because they've just broken several acts on the Human Rights Bill, and also false testimony, which is, of course, is itself also illegal. See, it's not just when you lie in order to gain finance from somebody. When you lie against somebody, that itself is illegal, whether it's in a court of law or not. Okay, I think I'll round off there a little bit. I'll maybe do something else on the Human Rights Bill, and I know my rights on these things from Liberty. Okay, thanks a lot.